Welcome back, everyone. President Obama invited leaders from 60 countries to the White House for a two-day entrepreneurship summit. It kicked off yesterday. However, the summit mostly focuses on the Muslim world instead of entrepreneurship here at home. At least that's what some are claiming. The president seems to be making good on his promise to deepen America's partnership with Muslim countries, but in these economic times, should he be focusing more on creating jobs here in the U.S.?
Amy Wilkinson is a senior fellow at the Harvard Center for Business and Government. She attended yesterday's summit, and she's attending today's summit as well. Amy, what was it like yesterday?
You know, it was a really exciting, engaged conference. There were about 250 people there, and it was everyone talking about business. It was talking about being an entrepreneur, whether you're in the Middle East or in another part of the world. It really is, it's a high buzz, high energy kind of conference.
So what was the goal of it? Because the president made this pledge when he did that speech in Cairo last June, that he wanted to try and encourage and incorporate the Muslim world into the business world, the international world. What's the goal?
Well, you know, it's a new foreign policy strategy. It really looks like we're using entrepreneurship now as a new way to engage people. And so that's kind of the lens on the conference. It is trying to reach out, trying to talk about things we could have common ground on. You know, how do you launch a business? How do you start a nonprofit? That's really the focus, but it is in a foreign policy context.
Amy, would you say there was a disproportionate number of Muslims there?
Oh, yes. I mean, this is, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing because it is framed as entrepreneurs coming from Muslim-majority countries, and most of them are Muslims themselves. But I'll tell you, no one's talking about religion, and no one's talking about security. Everyone's talking about business at this. They're talking about access to capital and launching products and finding others that they can collaborate with.
Right.
So that's what's going on.
Some people are finding it interesting that are they talking about creating U.S. jobs because that's on the forefront of the minds of many Americans?
Of course. You know, and as somebody who's participated in the conference, I will say these entrepreneurs are coming from over 50 countries, and it just makes you think, gosh, what if we had entrepreneurs coming from 50 states? What if we had a domestic strategy to try to catalyze jobs at home? Which would be a really wonderful thing to do, and this is focused on foreign policy. I think that it would be fantastic to have a domestic policy strategy. We sort of live in times that we're talking about too big to fail institutions, right? Too big to fail banks, too big to fail auto companies, financial regulatory reform. We really should be focusing on entrepreneurs at home.
Absolutely. So this is a good thing. It would be great to see an American thing the same way, a two-day conference where you get a chance to exchange business cards. Amy, don't do what I do, show up at these things without business cards and have to jot it down on the back of theirs, okay? Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Coming up,